Before we deconstruct the massive multi-billion-dollar economic lie that has been manipulated the global labor market for past 2 years, I have exactly 3 critical questions for you to answer in the comments below. Number 1, are you still terrified that artificial intelligence is going to permanently replace your job? Completely blind to the fact that the world's biggest tech companies are quietly realizing human labor is mathematically cheaper than compute. Number 2, have you fallen for the Wall Street illusion that adopting AI guarantees corporate efficiency, while massive conglomerates are actively banning these tools because they are bankrupting the balance sheet? Number 3, do you possess the structural framework to pivot your career from a generic AI consumer into a compute-efficient architect who protects the corporate margins when the token bubble finally bursts? Let me know your answers. I'm Dr. HR, and I approach the global labor and capital market not with emotional, comforting advice, but as a cold, structural, algorithmic system. I hold a PhD in human resources, a master's from prestigious Tata Institute of Social Sciences TISS in Mumbai, and a bachelor's in computer engineering, operating on the ground here in Dubai since 2010, consulting for Tier 1 corporate entities, sovereign wealth funds, and apex tech founders across the Middle East and India. I monitor exactly how global talent is sourced, valued, and leveraged. The market does not reward you for blindly adopting expensive technology. It rewards you for protecting the absolute sovereignty of the corporate balance sheet. They lied to you about AI adoption. The entire macroeconomic narrative that has driven the stock market, terrified the working class, and reshaped the corporate structure since 2024 is currently blowing up. Microsoft just banned its own engineer from using AI. The tool was literally costing more than the biological humans it was supposed to replace. The companies building AI are telling investors it saves money, but the companies actually using AI at scale are finding out it's cost infinitely more than the human workforce. We are standing at the absolute precipice of a 2026 AI token bubble. We are dissecting the catastrophic mathematical failure of autonomous agents, exposing the hidden OPEX, the operational expenditure crisis, destroying companies like Uber and Microsoft, and giving you the exact architectural blueprint to position your career for the massive, inevitable biological labor rebound. Before I completely dismantle the illusion of infinite AI efficiency, expose the exact mechanics of a token-based bankruptcy, and give you the precise sovereign career pivot to dominate the impending market correction, hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell. I post daily videos showing you exactly how to navigate the global labor and capital market using cold, hard engineering logic. You do not want to miss these execution protocols. Stop fearing the machine, start auditing its cost. Grab a notebook, it is time to run the math on the token bubble. Phase 1, the Microsoft rebellion, the math fail. We must first diagnose the exact debilitating financial shockwave that just struck the absolute epicenter of artificial intelligence revolution. For the past 2 years, every CEO on every earning call has recited the exact same algorithmic script. AI will make us more efficient. AI will reduce headcount. AI will cut cost. The stock market blindly rewarded this syntax. Fired workers. The stock goes up. Announce an enterprise AI integration, the stock goes up. But then, the actual invoices arrived. 6 months ago, Microsoft gave thousands of its engineers access to Claude Code and explicitly encouraged them to use it. The engineers loved it. Adoption exploded. Then, the finance department audited the telemetry. The structural flaw of the enterprise AI is a token-based pricing. You do not pay a flat monthly subscription for an autonomous reasoning engine. Every single query, every code review, every debugging session costs raw money. When you deploy an AI agent across a biological workforce of 100,000 engineers, the multiplication is terrifying. The numbers become so catastrophically large that Microsoft issued an internal absolute executive order. Cancel nearly all Claude Code licenses by the end of June. Force everyone onto their own cheap internal tools instead. Read the structural irony of this moment. Microsoft, the conglomerate that invested $5 billion into Anthropic, just ordered its own workforce to stop using Anthropic's product because it mathematically bankrupted their departmental budget. The company that bets its entire multi-trillion-dollar future on AI just hit the wall of the compute physics. The tool cost more than the human. Phase 2. The Uber collapse, the gamification trap. If you think Microsoft is an isolated anomaly, we must look at the devastating telemetry emerging from Uber. The story is even worse. Uber rolled out Claude Code to its workforce in December 2025. By March 2026, 84% of their 5,000 engineers were actively using the tool, and an astonishing 70% of all committed code was coming from AI systems. On paper, this looks like an ultimate corporate success story. But then, we look at operational expenditure. Uber CTO Praveen Nepalinaga revealed to the information that the AI budget he has planned for the entire year was completely mathematically blown away by April. Heavy users were burning between $500 to $2,000 per month, each in raw token consumption. Naga himself spent $1,200 in a single 2-hour demo session. Let us run a structural equation on this failure. Here is the formula. If an elite engineer in Bangalore or Dubai earns $100 per hour, they are expensive. But if an AI agent burns $600 of compute in a single hour to generate the exact same code, the AI is mathematically 6 times more expensive than the biological human. Uber fell into the lethal corporate trap, the gamification of OPEX. The company had built internal leaderboard ranking engineers by how much AI they use. They explicitly gamified the spending. They incentivized their employees to burn compute to prove how innovative they were. And they literally ran out of money. Phase 3. The Nvidia confession, the truth about compute. If Microsoft and Uber's internal financial panics are not enough to shatter your illusion, we must listen to the architect of the hardware itself. Look at what Nvidia's own vice president of applied deep learning, Brian Catanzaro, stated to Axios just last month. This is a direct, unedited quote. For my team, the cost of compute is far beyond the cost of the employee. This is a vice president at the exact company that sells the AI chip, openly admitting that utilizing AI is more expensive than paying the salaries of a biological human beings. This is a massive terminal gap that nobody on the Wall Street is pricing in. There is a $275 billion in AI infrastructure spending scheduled this year across big tech. But the first companies to actually deploy these advanced agentic tools at scale are already aggressively pulling back because the raw economics are completely broken. The media narrative is that AI is replacing you because it is cheaper. The structural truth is that more employees use AI, higher the corporate bill. Goldman Sachs has forecasted a 24x increase in the token consumption by 2030 as companies transition to autonomous AI agent. Gartner just published telemetry showing that even though individual tokens prices are projected to drop by 90% by 2030, total enterprise AI costs only go up. Why? Because agents consume exponentially more tokens per task than basic tools. They loop, they reason, they search, and they burn cash at every single step. Meta has built an internal dashboard called Claude Economics to hunt down and track which employees are burning the most AI budget. Amazon started pushing engineers to token max, their internal terms for consuming as many tokens as possible. They're scaling their way into a financial trap and ruin. Phase 4, the 2026 labor rebound, the biological premium. What does this massive impending bubble burst mean for human resources, corporate strategy, and your specific career in UAE, India, or the global market? It means we are about to witness the biological labor rebound. For 2 years, candidates have been terrified. They believed they were competing against an infinitely cheap, infinitely smart machine. But the physics of the capitalism are reasserting control. When a CEO in the DIFC or a managing director in a Bangalore tech park looks at their Q3 balance sheets and realizes their software costs have spiked by 400% due to API token burn, they will execute a hard pivot. They will restrict AI access. They will implement strict token quotas. and suddenly they will desperately need biological humans to execute the work that the AI is too expensive to perform. The companies building AI are lying to the investors about the cost saving. The companies using AI are discovering the little truth. Human capital is about to experience a massive premium resurgence, but the market will not rehire the lazy, obsolete employees of 2023. They will exclusively hire a new breed of operator. They will hire the sovereign architect. Phase 5, the sovereign career pivot, how job seekers adapt. If you're a job seeker, a mid-level manager, or a tech executive, you must use this macroeconomic data to completely reconstruct your professional positioning. You must pivot immediately to exploit the token bubble. Here is the exact architectural blueprint to dominate the new economy. Step 1. Become the FinOps architect, compute efficient operator. The amateur candidate updates their LinkedIn profile to say expert in prompt engineering and AI utilization. That candidate is a liability. You are advertising that you know how to burn the company's money. The sovereign operator brands themselves as a compute efficient architect. In your interviews, you do not brag about how much AI you use. You brag about how much compute you save. You tell the hiring manager, I observed that your current dev team is utilizing multi-turn agentic loops for basic data validation, burning approximately $400 in API cost per week per user. I architected a localized small parameter open source model deployment that executes the exact same validation with zero API calls, reducing departmental OPEX by 92% while maintaining output velocity. You instantly transition from an employee into a profit preservation engine. Step 2. Weaponize the empathy friction void. AI costs a fortune to do reasoning, but it completely fails at navigating human biological friction. You must aggressively pivot your career into the zones where token spend cannot solve the problem. High-stakes cross-border diplomacy between the UAE and India. Managing the psychological fear of a client during a multi-million-dollar M&A negotiation. Architecting the corporate culture and retention structures for elite human talent. The machine burns $1,200 to write a piece of code. The machine cannot sit in a majlis in Abu Dhabi, read the micro-expression of a sovereign wealth fund manager, and secure a $50 million investment. You must dominate the friction void. Step 3. Call the AI washing bluff, the ROI executive. If you are an HR director or a corporate strategist, you must protect your company from the hype. When your CTO proposes spending $2 million on a new enterprise AI deployment, you must act as the ultimate ROI gatekeeper. You demand the token burn projection. You demand the Jevons paradox calculation. The reality that makes coding easier will cause your engineer to request exponentially more compute. You stand in the boardroom and state Microsoft and Uber blew their budget in 3 months because they failed to track the marginal cost of agentic reasoning. You will not gamify our OPEX. We will deploy AI strictly in domains where the mathematical cost of compute is verifiably lower than the human capital equivalent. Look closely at the headline you read this morning. Look at the tech companies bragging about the multi-billion-dollar AI investment. They are bleeding cash. The token bubble is stretching to its absolute physical limit, and the math does not work. Stop fearing the machine. The machine is too expensive to replace you. Pivot your identity. Become the sovereign operator who governs the cost, protects the balance sheet, and commands the absolute premium of a biological human judgment. Process the data, execute the strategy, and I will see you at the top.